What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my walkthrough for Lords of the Fallen. So this will be a 100% walkthrough of the game, doing all main and optional areas, all NPC quests, unlocking all secret classes, and getting all endings. So this will be a platinum run. However, when it comes to the platinum, there is going to be a lot of stuff you guys are going to have to do on your own, as you do need all your weapons and armor from every single enemy type in the game to unlock your trophies. There's a lot of multiplayer stuff. There's going to be a lot of farming you're going to have to do. So following this guide will get you through the game and get you everything you need, but there's going to be a lot of NPC quests and a lot of endings and a lot of trophies and a lot of farming you're going to have to do in your own time. So we'll be telling you guys how to get that. We'll be showing you guys how to get that, but this is going to take 3 playthroughs, so I want to make that very clear before we jump in. Also, I would like to always state that it is best to do a blind playthrough for yourself, as we're going to be, going over a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of spoilers in this game, and that's because there's a lot of things that, are involved with other things at different times that we need to discuss as it's pertaining to trophies or, things that we need to know. So we don't want to ruin the experience for anybody that wants to do a blind playthrough, but we also understand that these games can be quite challenging and you might need help on a guide. And we don't care. We're here, to help everyone. But I just want to let you guys know there might be some spoilers, but we're still going to be suggesting builds and showing you guys how to put builds together and going over boss strategies. And my main focus will always be to help players get through the game while also covering trophies and how to get your platinum. So let's go ahead and jump on in. We are playing on PS5 for anyone that is curious. So, first off, let's go ahead and talk about Condemned, because it's not something we'd ever recommend. And as I stated, we are going to recommend a class for you guys, what I think will be the most friendly for newer players. Now, Condemned is a level 1 class, coming in at every stat at 9. You have a bucket for a weapon and a rock for a ranged option. This is for someone that wants a challenge. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't suggest it. But I did feel like it was really important to tell you guys you do have complete freedom here, even if it's your first playthrough. Do whatever you want. I'm going to cover the best weapons for every class, how you should probably do your stats for which weapons you're trying to get, and how, just show you how to properly put together every kind of build. So you guys will always have complete freedom on my playthroughs and walkthroughs. But I am going to suggest classes that I think would probably be the best for everyone, or best for newer players. So first up, we have Hollowed Knight. So Hollowed Knight is a strength class coming up with some pretty good armor. So there's a much better option for strength stat-wise, but if you want some good armor at the start, Hollowed Knight's pretty much what you're trying to do if you're trying to do, a strength build with a decent set, and decent, starting items, right? So next up, we have Werewolf. Now this is a real strength class. 16 strength, 13 endurance, 12 vitality. So you do have a good amount in base stats right at the start as well. But it's a very, very solid choice if you're trying to use big colossal weapons or any weapon scaling in strength. Now, Partisan, Mornstead, Infantry, and Black Feather Ranger are all different variants of quality builds. For those that don't know, quality builds are builds utilizing strength and agility, giving you access to colossal weapons and smaller weapons, so you have stats to use pretty much whatever melee weapon you want. Keep in mind, you will not have stats for spells or anything like that, but you will be able to use any type of melee weapon you want. Now typically, that's a recommendation of Souls-likes, because people probably don't know what they want to use. Then your respec can go into either strength or agility. In this game, however, quality builds are very viable, and there's a lot of just straight up quality weapons, so they're all just really good builds. Now all this is going to be, only difference here is what you're starting with, right? So you got Partisan, strength, agility, 13, 12. Mornstead Infantry, 12-14. Black Feather Ranger, 11-13. So all the stats are pretty much the same, but the Partisan starts off with a crossbow and flail. Mornstead Infantry is going to start with a pike and a throwable item, and then Black Feather Ranger has your bow and arrow and a hand axe. So, like I said, it's just about what weapons you want to start with. They're all three pretty much the same build. Now, Exile Stalker is going to be your agility build, so daggers, light bows, short swords, katanas, which aren't in this game, but that that kind of stuff would fall under agility. Smaller, faster, lighter weapons, right? Then we have Orient Preacher. This is gonna be like your faith build. So there's gonna be Radiance in this game, which is like faith, and then there's gonna be Inferno, which is like your pyromancy type stuff, and then there's gonna be an Umbral. Now Umbral, if you want to do that, you can. You need to pick one or two of these classes and just bring up Radiance and Inferno together, and that's how Umbral build works for those that don't know. But Orient Preacher starts at 18 rage, which is actually pretty high, 10 strength, 9 endurance, and 11 vitality. And then your pirate cultist is your inferno build, pretty much just the opposite, right? 18 inferno, 11 endurance, 9 vitality, 9 strength, 8 agility. So this is really, really powerful, but most of the best spells and weapons and all that are kind of hidden behind NPC quests. They really make you earn it with this one. Now the walkthrough is going to cover all that, but I do want that to be well known. Now as far as our suggestion, we are going to suggest you guys go with the Orium Preacher. Reason being, with this class, as it's more of a faith type class, you're able to cleanse status effects, you're able to heal yourself with actual spells in case you run out of heals, you're able to buff your weapons, and it's got a lot of really powerful spells, and Radiance really just cuts through the Inferno and Umbral enemies, and that's 80% of the game, so I would have to recommend it if I was to recommend one. Now, your character creator here does have quite a bit of depth to it, but we're going to try to, save some time here, just put together a pretty, just normal looking dude, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot you guys can do with it. Good enough for me. So like I said, we're going to keep it simple. You can do tattoos and all that stuff right there. So as far as this stuff, we are going to put on advanced game modifiers, and there is a reason for that. Alright, now we got our name in. So, when it comes to upgrading your weapon in this game, you're only going to give enough large beryllium to bring up one weapon, one catalyst, and one shield. And that's by like the very end of the game, like right before the last zone, if you're lucky. So because of that, we're going to put on a modifier for pre-upgraded loot. Now, this is not a New Game Plus, as you guys seen. I just, brand new save file, brand new side of my PlayStation, so never went through it before on this side, so everybody has access to this as per the new upgrade and update to the game. Now this is going to help us because we're going to start finding weapons based on our level, so later in the game we'll start finding weapons that are +8, and +7, and +9, so we'll actually have the upgrade material, so maybe use more than one weapon if we want to later in the game. Now we will be able to buy some, but it's so late game, you know what I mean? It's and then you have to do certain quests with your blacksmith where you might lose her, so you won't be able to buy them. So that's why I'm going to actually suggest that. Now, as always, go over your cutscenes and your dialogue. This is going to be a very curated experience. This is a walkthrough, so we're going to be skipping cutscenes, be skipping dialogue, and the tutorial area. Now going through this, it's like any other Souls game. R1 light attack, R2 heavy. Holding R2 gets you charged heavy. You obviously are going to have stagger bars and stuff like that. Now to go over your other options, down on the D-pad goes your lamp, up goes your catalyst, and use either by L2. You have your siphon with R1, soul flame with R2, seedlings with triangle, and entering umbral with square on PlayStation. Now, this probably doesn't make sense to you right now, but as I said, it's a YouTube video. Make sure you pause this, go through the tutorial area, get comfortable with your gameplay mechanics, and, we'll be right here for you. Like I said, we don't have time to cover all this. There's just too much stuff to do, especially the fact that, we're doing a walkthrough. We're trying to do 100% of it, and, direct you guys how to get your platinum here. There's just a lot involved with it. I mean, all throwable items, all armor sets, all weapons, all ammo types, multiplayer stuff, 3 secret endings, 4 secret classes. I mean, there's a lot going on, so we need to get to it. So moving ahead, just showing you, your basic lock on. And the areas are actually pretty easy in this game. Didn't really see what he was doing there. So instead of like, Dark Souls game where you have to like time the swing of your shield with the swing of the weapon, this is just a last second L1, right? So it's a much easier thing to do. There, run. Oh, nope, we're not going to jump. We want to drop for our teint. Sorry. So I got to actually look at my notes. Okay, so teints are going to be like armor dies, giving you some customization. So you might find a set of armor that looks really cool aesthetically, but it might be like raw metal material. Like, damn, I wish this was gold, or, I wish this was blue. It just gives you kind of options to change that around. Now, this is talking about your rolling and your dashing. It's actually quite good in this game. Cover quite a bit of distance compared to, other Souls-likes I've played. That's for sure. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to hit my drink. I feel like my voice was getting really scratchy. So that's just going over your inventory. Go right here, get your throwing rock. And we're going to use a range spell right here. Just going over your range. Now, like I said, you guys are going to go over this on your own time. So, all I can tell you real quick is your soul plate charges are under your mana. You see that little bubble there. As long as you have that bubble, you're good. You'll be able to do soul plates. So you do want to keep an eye on that. And obviously, you know, your light attack, your heavy attacks, left or right on your D-pad cycles, your quick items, you use that with square, same as every Souls game. Lantern. So, like I said, down on the D-pad, hold up your lantern. R1 will siphon. You can pick up your souls if you were to kill a guy on a lower level or something. You still be able to grab those. R2 is your soul plate. Rip out enemy souls. Also used to, like, solve little puzzles in Umbral. Like little obstacles can be soul played and clear up paths. And then triangle, we don't have seedlings yet, lets you plant temporary vestiges. And then squares let you enter Umbral, and we're about to do that. So now, sometimes you're going to be in Axiom where you got to use your Umbral lamp to move things out of the way, because it might not exist in Umbral, but you don't need to actually enter Umbral to do so. And that's pretty much what that is. What I just did there was a special attack, so we do have special attacks in this game. That's going to be L1, R2. Now, once again, this is not going to be like, you know, Elden Ring. We have some huge, flashy AoE type things. It's more of like a move set, right? So, dual loading in this game is really strong as well. I'd highly recommend it if you're using status effects, especially, as it'll, you know, help proc bleed or frostbite or anything else. But if you're hitting them with two weapons that do, you know, those statuses. Okay, so that's just talking about your quick access items. Now we're going to go over the wall, get to our lantern, enter Umbral. And you want to make sure you actually go through this wall, guys, because if you know, now it's blocked off. So if you try to enter Umbral before, you'd kind of be stuck here. Let's just talk about your Umbral lamp. Run, jump, get your wither ward. That's just going to, wards are going to raise your defenses to certain things. Now this is talking about obstacles, like I said, so you're going to actually use soul plate for that as well. And this will let us clear up paths. A lot of times paths will be blocked off by Umbral entities, and you need to clear the way by using soul plate charges on your obstacles. And it's going over soul plating enemies. So you'll be able to rip their soul out, and you can do damage, but it's only going to be wither damage. Just like our health bar is all gray, theirs is going to be all gray. While you're hitting their soul, so you're going to have to land that attack coming out of that. If you don't, they get their health right back. So you can use wither to your advantage. In fact, that's, you know, what Umbral builds are based off of, is a lot of wither damage, but it can be quite powerful in the right hands. Now to refill those charges for your soul play, siphon these, it takes a few. Unless it's like the red puzzles, and we'll run into those later. Those do more damage, or those have a bigger effect. That's just talking about wither. So if you're blocking, your health will get gray. And if the enemy hits you, it's going to do the damage it does, plus all that gray. So you want to make sure you attack them. Now, see how our health is all grayed out, all withered? I'm getting a few attacks. And look at that. I get all my health back. So that's how you're going to, you know, you just got to really be aggressive. That's not too bad, you know. Once you learn the gameplay mechanics of this game and get truly comfortable with them, it's not too bad. So there's good old parry. And critical attacks, really powerful, obviously. So as this one was glowing gold, that's how you know, you have an upgrade for your healing right there. So anytime you see those, you're obviously going to want to get them. We're going to want to get them anyways. There's always weapons and other stuff too, but just really look out for those guys. We have trophies pertaining to that as well, you know, fully upgrading your lamp, fully upgrading your heals. Those are, you know, also trophies. And there's a lot of trophies in this game. It's going to be really hard to get, you know, a lot of them in one playthrough. It does take 3, but we're going to get as many as we possibly can in one playthrough. Then we'll direct you guys to go to New Game Plus and let you know what you got left to do. That way you can, you know, kind of just do it on your own after that, but you don't have to worry. We got you all the hard ones to get, and then anything that's left is probably just going to be farming, or probably, you know, if it is a trophy related to a quest, it'll be pretty straightforward, where I know you guys will be okay at that point. So we'll get your platinum. Like I said, you're going to have to kind of go through the game and New Game Plus a bit, and because that's just how this game is. I was going to recommend us, you know, backing up our saves and stuff like that, but because of certain things, that would not, you know, really be an option. There's just too much, you know, going on to back up your save. And then if you back up your save and do 2 different things, let's say we can start with this NPC or this NPC for boss fight. So we go with this one, then we, download or save again. We lose whatever item we got from helping that guy. So you're going to cancel out things, and that's, it's a little confusing. Anyone that's backed up saves before knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's a little cutscene of the door being opened. We're going to go on up, exit Umbral. Okay. So we're just following this around. We're going to kill one guy and roll off. Booyah. Alright. So just roll on down here. Exit on out to redcorpse. So this is actually going to be our first vestige. So vestige is like your bonfires, for your checkpoint area. And also to mention, as far as trophies go, we're going to get quite a few in this game. Now, if you are trying to get all the boss armor, weapons, and spells, as many as you can get in a single playthrough, I would highly recommend going over here, making sure you're online. Is that a thing yet? Yeah, multiplayer. So make sure you're actually online here, guys, because we'll actually be able to avenge players that have gotten killed, and that will get us items we could trade in for additional umbral scourings, which is the resource you need to buy stuff from boss remembrances. And you don't get enough in one playthrough, so we're going to try to farm up as many as we can by, avenging lamp bearers. And we'll get into that shortly, but I would, go ahead and make sure you're online. This is just going over some basic attacks. Triangle on PlayStation goes from one-handed to two-handed. This is just your tutorial boss. It's a lot of parry practice, really. Stagger, stuff like that. Dodge the grabs. Watch that stamina. There we go. Now, when we kill him, we're going to die to the next guy. I mean, if it's your first playthrough, you're probably going to die to him no matter what. But this is a boss we have to die to 3 different times and beat at a very specific time with a very specific NPC. So, like I said, we're going to go and make sure we die to him. This is a Light Reaper, so he is involved in getting the Dark Crusader class unlocked. So I'm going to enter Umbral to make it easier to die to save us some time. This is going to get us our first trophy for dying in Axiom our first time. Then we'll get another trophy for recovering your vigor for your first time after dying. There you go, lost and found. Now we will be moving forward. Yeah, we need to go to the right first. So this is going to get us a quest item. This is just a piece of flesh, really nasty, I know, but we do need it. So we're going to go over here. You're going to see an item in the distance. We can't get that. It's actually a Dark Crusader's armor set and starting weapons, but that's much later in the game. We'll just have to, remember to come back here, and we will. We got notes on all this stuff, so we're not going to miss anything. Don't you worry. Spent 100 hours with detailed notes to make sure we can, get this platinum with, complete confidence for everyone. I'm not here to waste anyone's time. I'm going to make this, as fun as possible, and, let's all have a good time with it. So, as you go up, you can hit this guy, you notice you're not doing any damage. That's because he actually has a parasite buffing him up in Umbral. What you want to do in this situation is you're going to siphon an Umbral. There's a parasite. Now, you could actually cause him harm and grab the items. From here, we need to go in Umbral. So, I like to just kill myself real quick. You could, pull out your lamp and enter Umbral if you want, obviously. And there you go, a veil lifted. Which that's the trophy for dying in Axiom your first time, which you should have already gotten. For some reason it didn't register. Like I said, we're probably going to get about 6 trophies in this first episode. One will be from doing, avenging a player. So like I said, make sure you're online. There's a lot of online trophies to get, multiplayer type stuff, and that's probably what we'll do, and one of the things we'll do in our own time. If If I can fit it in an episode, I will, but if my internet connection isn't the best or something like that, and it just takes too long, we'll be wasting time. But we'll try it eventually. Let's get and talk to the Iron Wayfarer. Exhaust all his dialogue.
I don't know who you are, but since it's making you a bigger threat, if you know any,
This is one of the more notable NPCs. He's involved in the Umbral ending. He's involved in Ebb's quest. He's involved in a few quests. He's like I said, you're gonna see this guy everywhere we go. It's really important. So this is talking about stigmas. As I told you guys, Umbral scourings are the quest item or the currency for boss souls, boss remembrances to get the best item from them. So when you see these here, this is called a stigma, which is not allowing us to lock on for whatever reason. We'll go rest and enter Umbral. I don't know why that's going on. You're supposed to be able to lock on. That's how they work. However, when you see stigmas in the world, they're going to be an Umbral. So if you're ever walking around and you see little butterflies flying around, that's like a sign, hey, you need to be an Umbral here. And we'll show it in Axiom real quick so you know what to look for, right? So you're going to see little butterflies flashing. That's letting you know, hey, there's a stigma here. Alright, so stigmas are past events. So if I soul flame a stigma, that past event will play out. Then after it does, you will get 2 Umbral scourings each time. There's also other ways to get Umbral scourings and farm them up, but we want as many as we possibly can get. One of the recommended weapons for this build is going to cost 40, so it's really going to put us back. It is a really fine weapon that we get really, really soon. Just a few episodes. It's actually pretty nice. So going forward, and don't worry about being an Umbral for those that haven't guessed. If you die in Axiom, you go to Umbral. If you die in Umbral, you're just dead, right? So you want to watch out for that. There's also another guy to our left. So be careful for him. And like I said, we need all basic enemy types armor sets. So what I'm going to suggest you guys do, it would be really easy, the way I suggest, just to talk about this for a quick second. So because you need every single enemy type's armor, weapons, or any spells they may have, the best way to do it is to go through one area, see what enemy types are there, farm them all up. And just do that area per area. I'll remind you in between every episode to do so. Or you can just do it, get to the end of the game, see what you're missing, and then go try to farm specific enemies for those items. But I'm going to let you know the list is very lengthy, very. So little by little is probably the easiest way to do it. Although later in the game you'll have more options for things that will boost your item discovery, so it's up to you. Now, as you see, we're going to go to the left right there. Bust that wall, just hit that guy. Now we're going to take him out, turn around immediately. Pop this, it's going to get you the Hallowed Condemnation, which is a sword with blood loss. Not bad for agility builds, unfortunately, so not for us. So from here, we're going to try to hit this guy with range, take about 3. Yep. Now we can take these guys down. Let's going to shoot this down. This is going to give you half the armor set that we're going to collect. It's pretty much one of the armor sets from these guys. I think it's the other guy, not these guys. The guy that was throwing like the fire at us. So it's pretty much saying, hey, you don't have to worry about it. We're giving you one, right? And you gotta farm up all the others, have at it. But no, there's a lot of armor sets we'll get. And we're gonna go here to the left. So you'll find ammo laying about. It's always going to be with mana, so don't worry. If you find ammo, you find a mana and vice versa. It's going to be all throughout the world. What I like about this game is you can go to ammo types and you can put on a grenade. And it's not like you only have 17 grenades in your inventory. Once you got it once, you got it forever. And you just need ammo pouches to fill that up. So if we were to switch to our hand instead, I could put on that rock we picked up. Now if you look under my health and my stamina, you see, a certain count every time I throw something. Then you just go here, you put on your quick items, and you go over here to your ammo pouch, and that's how you fill it up. So once you have that throwable, you always have it. You don't have, a limited amount, which is really nice. So just going forward, roll on off here. Now we have a very elite enemy. We're gonna see this guy throughout the whole game, but he is very elite, and right now it's gonna give new players a lot of trouble. So what we're gonna do, we do want him taken out. While you could just avoid him, there's stuff we want back here, guys. Plus you're gonna need his armor set as well. Damn. I don't know why my parry didn't go off. I do know his timing. Oh. Okay, he's playing hardball. He's going to heal up. Let's get up here. My plan was to get a little bit more damage on him than that. And get him over here. Get a drop tack on him. And kind of rinse and repeat if you need to. We could also hit him with some spells. Kind of cheese him a bit for anyone that might need, you know, the extra help with this guy. Totally missed. Let's get a big old heavy on him. That's, you know, that's me. I know how to fight this guy. For you guys, like I said, the best way is to get up here, rinse and repeat on your drop attacks, or honestly, what I was trying to do is this. Be careful, he's gonna hit us. He's doing that way too long. But, you know, you can just sit up here, bop him off with spells. We are an Umbral because he did kill us, so we want to watch out. Hopefully you guys aren't. If you are not an Umbral, you just hold up your lanterns across this path here. If you are going to fall off, that's our starting shield. So if you didn't start off as Orion Preacher and you want to try to get all the trophies, make sure you get that. One less item you need. Okay, so now we're going to cross. Like I said, if you're not an Umbral, just hold up your lantern and, you know, use this bridge to walk on over. You're also going to notice while you're an Umbral, you have a modifier. Now this is giving you more souls while you're an Umbral. So under your souls up there, you see times 1.10. The longer you're an Umbral, the more that modifier is going to go up, getting you more and more souls. However, the larger an Umbral, the more dangerous the enemies are going to be. And eventually, a Red Reaper is going to come, and you're not going to be set to really even fight this guy in a fair fight to the end of the game. That's how strong he is. That's how much health he has. So we're not going to recommend it. We do need to take him out for a trophy. But even at the end game, with in-game builds, he's still really, really tough. After we take them out, let's go pick up our bigger skulls, which are like consumable souls. You pop those, you get a little more souls. Then we get an Inferno weapon right here. It's going to be your Raw Mangler Axe. It does 60 to burn, which does, you know, inflict damage over time, right? Also does fire, and it does physical. So really good starter weapon. Gonna be better than what Inferno build started with, and we're about to start fighting a lot of those guys, and they have a chance to drop them as well, and you'll get a lot of Raw Mangler access to a playthrough, so you'll be able to dual wield those before too long. So let's go ahead and exit Umbral first. So if you're an Umbral and those guys have parasites, you don't have to siphon them, guys. You could literally just, you know, pop them off, because they'll physically be there. You just swing at them. Anytime you see these little planks or any wooden, you know, structures around it, oh, there's always a guy hiding behind there. And our next time, we're like, you know, scaffolding 1,000 foot in the air, so they like to hide behind there and push you off. So you just make it a habit to look for it. All right. We got him going on up. This is going to be your tutorial for how to do backstabs and, you know, charged heavies to break stagger. So just, you know, you charged heavy here, boom, broke the stagger. I don't know why the critical attack didn't register, but it didn't. I'm gonna bust this open. Alright, so now from this point we're just gonna work our way around and get our next vestige. Now that door, don't worry about it, it's a later game zone, probably around episode 10, so, you know, good 10 hours away from us right now, we're not worried about it. But I did want to point it out because we're obviously all looking at it, right? So we are going to go ahead and grab a level. Just under 2, actually. Oh no, we do have enough for 2. Awesome. So we do want to get our health and stamina up to 2020 before we do anything else. After that, we'll be working on our radiance. And we'll get back into that stuff, you know, later on. But 2020 on health and endurance is extremely important at this point. And it's going to give us, you know, more health so we can get hit a little bit more before we get killed. And also enough stamina to swing our weapons a little bit more, dodge, or whatever we have to do. As every action costs stamina, you don't want to be caught without it. So let's go ahead and enter Umbral. We're going to go off over here to our left, pull this. And we're actually going to drop down here and get another stigma and a pretty cool item. So there's going to be certain items you can socket into your lantern, giving you special effects. There's called Umbral Eyes, and this is the first one. So this one is going to give us 15% threat resistance boost. It pretty much lets you stay in Umbral longer before those more elite enemies come out, right? And it also gives you a second soul plate charge. And that's probably the bigger thing, honestly. Alright, so let's go and pull this, get our Stigma.
Someone! Help me, please!
Okay, so now we're good to go on up. Let's just kind of wrap this around in a circle. So where we're about to drop down at, we've already, been here. However, because it's, souls, why not? Let's go ahead and, take them down again. Alright. So at this point, if you are trying to farm all the armors, we have ran into 3 enemy types. We've already gotten the Pilgrim set, but we're about to go get the rest of it here in a second. So that just gives you the Rogar, and obviously the other guy. There's, some armor sets from Umbra we're going to have to get as well from those enemies, so keep that in mind. So we're going to shoot this down. This is going to be the Mine Owner's Ring, giving you a little bit more endurance, but more importantly, it's going to enhance your stamina recovery rate, so it's really nice. Your stamina regeneration, much easier to say. For me especially, the way I talk, stamina recovery, I'm just, struggling here. Alright. Gonna heal on up. You guys, I'm actually being a bad guy right now. Well, we're good now, but you guys probably should have rested. I should have told you to rest so you didn't get killed, just in case, because in Umbral it's easier to die. However, we had to enter Umbral right here, so I was just trying to, get to this point. So we're gonna go forward. Anytime you see like these little eggs, if you could lock onto one, that's gonna be a guy that hatches out. So you wanna, especially if you're surrounded, more than anything else, make sure, or you're about to be surrounded and you see these first, make sure you're, see, there you go, taking these out so you don't just get so overwhelmed with these. Give yourself any added risk. Alright, now we can go forward, take him out obviously, but get the rest of our Pilgrim set right here. And that'll be your first armor set you have. I wouldn't really call it armor, but that's what it's classified as. So we're going to go on up, get a shortcut, take out a Rogar, and exit Umbral. You don't want to be in Umbral longer than we have to be, and sometimes it's just nice for us to, reset our time in Umbral. So if we still have a bunch of shit to do in Umbral and we've been there a little bit long, we'll exit and just enter again to reset our time so Scarlet Reaper doesn't come for us. So as you see, parry timing's pretty friendly in this game, for sure. I'm sitting there telling you how good the Mine Owner's Ring is to even put it on. So now our stamina's going to regenerate much faster. Alright, so now you have a shortcut back to your last vestige, and we got our upgrade mat already. So right behind here, another Corrupted Pilgrim, which that is a different set from your regular Pilgrim set, so do keep that in mind. That just drops you back down. Now, we're about to get on over here, see the Wayfarer again, and he is going to actually give us a vestige seed. Like I said, vestige seeds act as temporary vestiges because sometimes there's quite a bit of distance in between. Now, if you see these little roots on the ground, look at the bottom right of the screen. You see my lantern, how it's blinking? That lets you know when you're near somewhere you could actually plant one.
You carry if you
can't do it
don't
anywhere
make
you
use
want.
of this.
You got to actually go through and make sure you're in the right spot for it. And you also want to be careful. It sets you up. So it'll be like, oh, you can plant a seedling here, and it's been a while. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you plant one, then you go up, and there'll be a vestige. And these items are limited, so you want to be careful. Now I'm going to guide you to the best places to put one. And we do want one here because we're actually, next episode, we'll be going to unlock these doors here, and we want to leave this, right? So it isn't, a good spot anyway. Plus, you got to do it for your trophy, right? What is that? Like the damn third, fourth trophy we got so far. Alright, so now we're about to go on up and get to our first remembrance boss, but there's, a few things to grab along the way. So what we'll probably end up doing is going up here, clearing this stuff, resting, and then going for our boss. And this boss is actually going to have the weapon we want to use for this build. So I wasn't going to suggest this weapon because it was nerfed really badly, but I do believe towards the end of the game it's going to pair nicely with other weapons because it does have smite on it. We're just kind of going around this lava. It'll burn you a bit, but picking up all your items and then going up there and finishing up, whatever's left with these guys. But smite, every few hits, you hit an enemy, it'll like get a lightning bolt to come down. It's really damaging, especially with all these inferno enemies. Oh god, I even see him. Yeah, he's a beast. He's always going to be a problem. Just, later you get in the game, more and more zones, these guys get more health, get more damage. About time, shit. Oh, I never rested? Oh no, he killed me. I was like, wait, we never rested. What the fuck? He did it so quick. Alright, there we go. So now we can, like I said, you can just vacuum up your souls. You don't have to worry about, chasing them down each time. And while you might think that's like a good farm because you're seeing a bunch of guys, I mean, this is the beginning of the game, guys. They're not worth much. If you do want to farm, which I'll never recommend it, farming for souls, for levels, it does kind of take away from the experience, in my opinion. But we are going to have to farm up armor sets, and you're going to get a bunch of souls for doing that. What I would suggest you do with that is actually, pick up your dagger here, is actually to buy up all the armor, rings, and pendants, and all that stuff from certain NPCs. So you gotta remember, all the NPCs you meet that have a bunch of items, you have to buy all that stuff too. So it's gonna be hard to get to a high level in one gameplay. But if you're already going through, now we're gonna just gotta go back and rest. But if you're already going through farming up all the armor sets and stuff, you're gonna get plenty of souls. So just make sure you start clearing out everything from every NPC you meet. You need it all. You have when there's a trophy that says all armor sets in the game, it means all armor sets. Not even just all the main enemies. Any armor set NPCs sell. That's part of it. Any rings they sell for your ring and pendant trophy. So keep that in mind. I mean, you just need every single thing in this game. That's one good way to look at it. So now, Pieta. She almost reminds you of an angel. So she's using holy. She has this holy sword that does have smite on it. Does have smite buildup. So that's why I'm going to suggest we go with fire here. She has a lot of really wide attacks the first half of her fight, easy to parry, pretty easy to dodge, extremely telegraphed. She has a grab attack, watch out for that. If she points her sword straight at you, it will fire off a holy beam. You want to dodge that. She can also summon up clones. So they're usually for one attack, you just dodge that and you're good. Halfway, these clones will fly all the way down the stadium and they're going to make it rain swords. She could also make it rain swords. So when she does it, just run away. When they do it, like one will be at the far left, one will be at the far right. So just stay in the middle. Then at the next time they're on the left or in the middle, then work to the right. So just remember, wherever they are, we aren't. So if you just keep that in mind, I do believe we'll be okay. This is just a parry bait fight, right? We're just being patient, getting our parries in, getting our attacks in, but we're not being greedy. Never more than 3 or 4 hits. And that's the same. There's your holy beam. That's the same for everybody in this game. If you just be patient, guys, just be patient. Don't get greedy. Sometimes she does a second attack, so be careful on them slam downs. Yeah, if you're just being patient, you don't get greedy, paying attention to their very telegraphed moves a lot of these bosses have, you'll typically be okay. But you've seen that did have a little bit of radius. She's going to fly over the middle, make her rain swords. You're getting on the sidewalk. Alright, now her swings are actually going to change, be more like curved, as you see. Not as easy to read. Still, it's working the same. Nothing's changing, they're just, a little harder to read. Ooh. Thank you. Buffs only last for so long, so there's our clones, we're staying in the middle. Like I said, wherever they are, we aren't. There's the grab. Extremely telegraphed, as I said. If you see that little white dot on her, guys, that is her posture. So as we empty that up, as you see that the left is like kind of dark, we make that completely hollow. That's how you know you're about to break your poise. So every parry is going to do that for you. Alright, so we're going to the right as they're, you know, in the middle of the left. Boom. There it is. Let's just go finish her off. Ooh. There it is. So, there's Pietà. Now we want to enter Umbral. So that's going to get you her 8 Umbral Scourings for 1. A trophy. And always envisage seed every single boss, whether it's a mini boss or main. So when it comes to remembrance bosses, this is extremely important. If you don't do this, you won't get the remembrance, so you cannot trade that in for boss weapon spells or armor, right? So you're going to enter Umbral after every remembrance boss, every story boss, big boss, and get their stigma. This is going to give you 2 more Umbral Scourings. So every remembrance boss, because of that, you will get 10 Umbral Scourings altogether. Like, we probably already have like almost 15 or so. Let's go on up, get the Sanctify spell. Now we're going to go all the way down, and this is actually going to be our hub area, Skyrest Bridge. And as we go in, we'll be talking to Dumbmire. He pretty much runs the show here. I don't know if he's really in charge, but he's definitely, a senior at this place for sure. Alright, so you get your little cutscene, and you'll get another trophy for making it this far. And there it is. Like I said, it's like the 5th, 6th trophy. We're probably going to get, if you did see a lantern on the ground, a soul flay, and avenge the fallen player, you also have a trophy for that. I didn't see any, unfortunately, but
I had known as one worthy.
My name get all his dialogue.
The Church of the duty of ensuring the while this she and her did at least construct, but now it is to use the and deliver salvation. Rogue the Aureus.
Alright, so what we do want to use our souls and get levels and stuff like that. Don't worry, the levels will come. What is important though, guys, is we get all this stuff. So we start as Orient Preacher. We don't need that set. We already have it, but you do need this set. So you're gonna need to buy this, then these weapons here. But for now, because we are just getting started, what I'm going to suggest you do is buy a Radiant Weapon. That's going to be a weapon buff that gives us extra holy damage, and buy a second hammer. Reason being, these hammers have physical and holy, right? We're doing a holy build, while this just has physical. So wielding these is going to give us 2 weapons, dual wielding, both with holy and physical. Now, as far as our spells, we can also put on our Radiant Weapon. Now, I don't mess with this. This is more of like a PvP thing. Sigil that heals allies. We're not worried about that, but we need all the spells, so we're getting them all. But for a while, there's not going to really be anything else we care to actually put on. You know what I mean? Quick items, I would keep on some mana just in case we run out. But at the start, in our very first episode, look at this. We have 2 holy hammers with holy buffs. That holy buff is going to actually build up smite, so we're actually extremely powerful right at the start. You can't beat it. So we're going to go on up, get our message, and there is some stuff we're going to have to do here. So first thing is first, let's get this health up a bit. Alright, so we're only 4 points shy. Now Pietà, after you have taken her down as a boss, she's going to be here to upgrade your heals.
By Aureus' divine will, I live, and to think I raised my sword when all alone to deliver my death and forgive me, Lamp-bearer. I'm Pietà of the Hallowed Sentinels, and so too, whether contained within this, should you bring them to me, the beacon and a dear fellow.
Alright, so you're going to get all of her dialogue. She's also going to offer you Chrysalis Rebirth. That's how you respec your character. Now you do need a rebirth chrysalis, and you won't even find one until you're about 67, probably 70% done with the game. There's going to be some you can buy. They're extremely expensive. So in this game, respecing is extraordinarily rare, and I would just be sure of your stats and how you want to put your character together.
Our holy work
and you won't get many chances. If you want to spend 8,000 souls on one, we'll unlock that in 2 episodes. But I mean, I would just be sure about what you're doing. but we're going to need to come here anytime we get, our Sanguinarix upgrades, and make sure we're upgrading that to get ourselves more heals and make sure our heals heal us more, right? So it's really important stuff. Now from here, we're going to go over to the right, talk to Stoneman.
So the exactors found himself, and given that lamp was intended for me, and yet now here you... Well, I'm Stoneman, a group of good against a man. We made a vow, whatever the cost to us, that heretical, as are you, it was...
Now,
Radiance,
he's got a lot of stuff
judgment.
here. So remember, you're going to need all this stuff. And a lot of it you will find around the world, too. At least to start weapons, I know we're going to find this, and this for sure. I have to look farther in my notes about the Hollow Knight Sword. But usually you do find all the starting weapons for, these classes around the world. So I wouldn't worry about that stuff. But as far as, like, your shields, the ring, and all these armor sets, you're going to have to buy every single one of these, for your trophy. Pilgrim's Perch Key. 18,000 souls. This does get us in a later game area. You will get this for free much later in the game, about 12 hours into the game for free. But if you do want to get this, if you stop leveling up now and get through the next episode, just the next episode, you'll have the souls. That will give you a late game area where you can get 3 phenomenal weapons off the top of my head. You will not have the stats to use them for quite a while, at least 7 hours. However, that'll kind of tell you how you should do your stats. So if you did a quick run through, you could actually get 4 large ceruleums, which you won't get for a very long time, to upgrade weapons more. And you'll also get, like I said, 3 really good strength radiance weapons. But keep in mind, you're not going to have the stats for a long time. But, like, one is like 20 strength with 32 radiance, right? And it does a lot of blood loss. Where another one's 28 strength, 28 radiance. So one requires higher radiance and less strength. One is more evenly, and you'll kind of know how to do your stats. So I would definitely recommend it. We're not going to do it this run, but I will tell you this: I was definitely considering it heavily. I was heavily considering it, as it is worth it. Might put you, 4 levels behind us temporarily, but I would definitely, recommend it if you're doing strength radiance. It is worth it. Now, I did recommend a Radiance build for this playthrough. I will say Strength Radiance, Regular Radiance, it doesn't matter. Agility Radiance, you guys can do what you want there, right? I'm just going to recommend a Radiance build. And it could have easily been Strength Radiance, just as viable, more viable, in fact. And Strength Radiance is definitely probably a stronger build, but I want to try to get our Radiance as high as we can to get some of these in-game spells to hit really hard. And if we get, our radiance up to like 60, we might, consider going into something else. But, mostly it's going to be radiance, maybe a little bit of strength. So, but like I said, strength radiance is really good. It's just as good as what we're doing. It could even be better, arguably. So, just put that out.
Look at you. Aren't you the most? We tend to step Aureus. Anyway, you don't see that we set ourselves the best watch your step. Mornstead is a best watch your step.
Best watch your step. We're going to go here, get another spell. Then we're going to talk to this guy. So actually, Aura of Tenacity, to speak on this for a second, guys, this is going to make you take less damage, but it constantly drains your mana, so I'm not going to recommend we put it on.
That lamp. But then, I hope for both hours. If in doubt, much as he might think of.
Okay, so if in doubt, what you want from him. Now, every time we interact with a shrine, we are actually going to get a gesture. We need all gestures for a trophy. So this is the Shrine of Aureus, your holy shrine. So as you see, Ori and Vow of Protection got your gestures. So if you're doing multiplayer, you'll get the pilfers. When you get so many pilfers, you can trade in for different tinks to dye your armor, which I'd love to have that one. Different tinks to dye armor sets. You can get an armor set, and you can also get a Beryllium trunk. So everything here, I would get this. The Beryllium trunk, guys, as that is the final upgrade mat to bring a weapon to +10. We're actually going to get this pretty early on in the game, considering we'll get about halfway through the game. For Souls-like, that's really early. So, but, more is better. That's more weapons you can fully upgrade, so keep that in mind. If you are going to do multiplayer, it'd be very worth your time. A tink's 100, and that's 150, you know what I mean? It's a no-brainer to me. Now, as we are collecting everything, to make things easier, we can access a coffer right here, and we can start putting up stuff we're not going to use, right? We're not going to use this stuff. Why not? And we know we have it, and if we get any doubles, we know we can sell this stuff. You know what I mean? I was thinking about putting that on temporarily. because of the blood loss, but I'd have to really consider it. You know what I mean? I mean, what is it? 2 points? Might not be bad. 70 blood loss, a little bit of physical, but we probably won't. Now, let's put up our pilgrim set. That's your bandages, hood. Alright, that's one full set. We might try to keep stuff in our inventory. Well, this is our set. We'll start putting that up, because when we get armor set, we'll put the rest of it up. But I might keep like this corrupted penitent loincloth, and when we get the whole set, move it over. So everything that's in storage is full sets, and it just, we know we're not missing anything. Because if we're like missing pants to something, like 4 different armor sets, we're going through, what are we missing? We're not gonna know. At least while it's in our inventory, we know, okay, we need the rest of this. You know what I mean? So I do believe that would be pretty smart. Move over your ammunition, any spells you're not going to use, it's not going to hurt to move them over. From here, we're going to stay in Umbral. If you're not in Umbral, go ahead and enter, and we're going to go up here and talk to Mulhu. But first, actually, we're going to rock past Mulhu. So this is the Umbral Shrine. I almost forgot. This is going to get us another gesture. And you could actually trade in the eyes. So when you avenge a fallen player, you get 3 eyeballs for this. Not Umbral eyes. These are different eyes. So every time you avenge a player, you get 3, and then Umbral Scouring costs 3. So think about that. Every single time you do one avenge, you get an Umbral Scouring. So that's why I said turn on online mode, avenge as many people as you can, because every single time is a Umbral Scouring. Like at this point, we already have 14. So we need 40 for our main weapon. We're going to suggest for the build, but we can't even do that until we actually get the Bowl of Revelations, which we are going to get episode after next.
The lamp only then.
So if you are doing an Umbral build, if you put 4 points into whether, like, so if you start an Aureus Preacher, you know, you'll have 8 Inferno. So if you were to put 4 in Inferno, you'd have the 12, and you'll be able to get a starting Catalyst for Umbral and a few spells. So you can at least start working your Umbral build. You also sell 3 Umbral Scourings, you know, basic consumable type stuff. This opens up more lanterns to appear, so you can avenge more fallen players. Not a bad choice. And you can buy, you know, bigger skulls. You're going to pay twice as much as what they're worth, but remember, you don't lose those upon death. And then he has unlimited amount of seedlings. Now, there's going to be a lot of enemies we can kill that have a high chance to drop those. So I'm going to suggest we do that so we don't have to buy these, because in game we're going to have to plant a lot of these things because these areas are really tricky to navigate. So because of that, we want to try to kill all these enemies that have a chance to drop them so we can save up as many as we could possibly get. However, guys, we are going to wrap up here. Next episode, we'll be working towards the Pilgrim's Perch. But we do have to hit the Sanctuary. We have, you know, a side path. It's going to give us a lot of stuff towards our Platinum armor sets and pendants and spells. You name it. NPCs, you know what I mean? Everything you can think of. So we're going to work up the Sanctuary and then on into the Pilgrim's Perch. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll see you back here shortly to actually get started for real with Lords of the Fallen.